What up? It's your man, the old man Winter, back with another episode of No Holds Barred, the hardcore, real, raw show where we speak what we feel and feel what we say. Today's topic of discussion is Deion Sanders and his leave from Jackson State to Colorado and how this is bigger than him and bigger than anything else anybody is talking about revolving this issue. Welcome to No Holds Barred. We're leaving permanent scars, beating odds, living large, giving game no charge. Omen Winter's your host. Some say he's doing the most. We can roast, have a toast as we brag and boast. Let's go. So, basically, get into the point at hand. This thing right here isn't about Deion Sanders, and I'm not here to knock him or trip him out or anything. Deion came in there, I believe, with good intentions. He sold them kids a dream over there and at Jackson State. For those that don't know, he came in there talking God this, God that, this is God's plan, and he really brought a air of destiny, like this was something that was meant to be. This was ordained move. It was bigger than him. It was about bringing light upon the HBCUs and basically elevating the HBCUs throughout the country. He was recruiting top recruits. He was doing a lot of things, but the rhetoric that he brought to the table, was that of this being bigger than just a check, bigger than just football, and this was something ordained from on high, which to me honestly is crazy because I don't believe God gives a damn about anything to do with some damn entertainers, which football players and football in general and sports and all of that is just glorified entertainment. God is in I believe God has bigger issues to deal with, bigger fish to fry than to worry about the elevation of the modern day gladiator in the eyes of the people or whatever rhetoric he was preaching to get these people to believe in him so much. If you know Deion Sanders, like I know Deion Sanders, or like most older people know Deion Sanders, he wasn't a guy of any type of high integrity. I don't know if this is a new thing that he's trying to get on with it, alleged God kick or whatever like that he sold them guys the God talk to get in the door over there at Jackson State. But this is the same guy that was like a mercenary in sports. He played for several different teams. It was always about money for him during his playing career. He even put out a song or a rap or whatever it was talking about must be the money. I would play it, but I ain't trying to get no copyright strike. So this man even had a little song talk must be the money. You know what I'm saying? So this guy has never been a guy that's like been of high integrity. But again, I'm not here to knock Deion for making the move he made. This isn't about Deion. This is about the system of white supremacy in a nutshell. They seem, like I say, I believe he may have been genuine when he first came in there. But guess what? The system of white supremacy, what is their point? They move in this acquisition for Colorado was to say, guess what? You guys have somebody that's trying to pretend like they're righteous and saved and they're this and that and they have integrity and all of this. We're gonna show you that every last one of you have a price. And if we meet their price, we can buy his integrity. We can get him to go against anything that he ever said. Any of you black folks that think y'all high and mighty and standing on this and standing on that. We gonna show the whole black community we can buy that Negro just like any other Negro out here. You know what I'm saying? Every last one you have a price. We can always get whichever one of you all we want to sell the rest of y'all out, and it ain't nothing you all can do about it. And that was basically the lesson of the white supremacists in this matter. You know, they made him an offer that he couldn't refuse. Everybody knows Deion is always the same old. You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He'll be talking all this good stuff here and there and all this other stuff. But they knew, just like we knew, that was the same old Deion that made the must be the money. The same old mercenary Deion that bounced around from this team to that team to the highest bidder. The same Deion that'll basically do anything for a dollar. And this comes to a bigger issue with these athletes and entertainers. We have to stop putting our faith in these people. These people have, you know, their very nature is to, you know, do things that the average person wouldn't do for money. You know, these people aren't people of high integrity. You know, a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, not so open secrets and all this other stuff. These people aren't standing up for anything. They aren't standing on anything. You know, they don't stand up to the system. They're part of the system. And that just has always been what it is. They receive their debt. This is why they get paid so much to do what they do. They receive their daily bread from the system of white supremacy. That's their God, honestly. You know, like when I talk about Kanye and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like they be talking about God. When they talking about God, I honestly believe that they're talking about a different God than the God that the average person talks about as far as the God on high. You know, I don't. You know, their God is money. Their God is power. Their God is basically the system of white supremacy and being their lapdogs at the end of the day. And like I said before, again, I'm not here to really slight this man. You know, the way he did it. You know, preaching this God thing and all of that stuff to get in the door of Jackson State. I feel like that was rather distasteful to come in the door, to get in the door on that note, but then being so easily just bought by the white man anytime they came and flashed a couple of dollars in his face. Like, yeah, I feel like that's not to be too much respected, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Again, the system of white supremacy is here to show you that every Negro has its price. We can buy and sell you Negroes at the drop of a hat. Nothing has changed from now to back in the days of slavery when we was able to buy and sell whatever one of you Negroes. So, you know, like I say, these sports leagues, entertainment, and all of that stuff. All of this stuff is uh basically a recreation of the slave system, but these are people that are happy to be picked as slaves because guess what? They high paid slaves, so they willing to take it. Does anybody ever wonder why none of these people ever step up and take a stance on anything? You know, why they have to go to different countries to actually do stuff to help black people? They can't do it here in America. Why isn't the Jay-Z and Beyonce center in every city of America? They supposed to be rich billionaires. Why isn't it a Oprah Winfrey school in every major city, every black area in America? She goes over to Africa and opens up a bunch of schools, but why can't she do that here in America? Why can't she use any of her money to improve the conditions here in America? It's because them people won't let them. You know what I'm saying? You can't step up. You can't speak out. You can't try to use your individual billions that the white supremacists allowed you to have to improve the conditions of other black people on a major scale. If you try to do that, guess what? They're gonna get on your heels. Look at Kanye West. And Kanye West is a coon. We all know that. He ain't trying to do nothing for black people. But he is trying to speak out against, the greatest system at all, because he's basically bitter they won't, let him be a full-fledged member of they clicked up bullshit that they got going on behind the scenes. So since he, since his black skin can only stops him from going so far up the rungs of the ladder, he's broken bad. But look at what they do to him. They let him run around here and claim to be a billionaire for in front of all of us, going all these shows and claim he's a billionaire and he got all this money and he the richest black man in history. They allowed him to go around. They could have busted him out at any time while he was running around here trying to stun on the black community, sitting around here telling us, oh, can't nobody tell me nothing that don't got more money than me and all this other stuff. Going around getting on text messages with Jay-Z and Drake and all that. Oh, I got more money than all of you all. You know what I'm saying? It was monopoly money. It was all fugazi. You don't got no money. You don't got no billions. That it's impossible to have billions if the next day after you say something that's allegedly anti-Semitic, the Jews snap their fingers and you no longer have billions of dollars no more. That 21 makes two. You never had billions of dollars. They just allowed you to run around here just like they allowed Nick Cannon to run around here and claim he owned Wild 'N Out and that was his show when it never was. And then once he stepped out of line, the white supremacist European Jews came in, slapped his ass down and showed, Negro, you don't own none of this. This is ours. And we'll take it away from you whenever we want, even though no matter how profitable this thing is, no matter how much this thing is making us money. We'll just take that up, ball it up, throw it in the trash before we'll allow you to use it and keep on claiming that something is yours that we all know is mine. Kanye, Nick Cannon, the list goes on and on. This is what they do. Again, if you're willing to play ball with them, they'll let you stun in front and act like you the biggest and baddest and got all of these riches and got this, that, and the third. You ain't allowed to really have riches in this country for real unless the system of white supremacy is putting a stamp of approval on it if you're a black person. Just ask the many black business owners to try to get their businesses off the ground, and what happens? The city send in the health department to shut you down, or they send in the building inspectors to shut you down, or they, they have a plethora of resources that they have to harass and antagonize black business owners and make sure none of their businesses succeed. The Asians don't have to go through that when trying to open up businesses and run their businesses. We know a lot of their businesses are extremely nasty and should be shut down by the health department. You don't see the health department running Asia's businesses like that and shutting down their businesses and finding this, that, and the third little excuse to get on their heels about any little thing. Same thing as the Arabs run the grocery stores, little corner stores, and the gas stations. Ain't nobody coming in harassing them. Ain't nobody from the city doing anything to sabotage their businesses. Only black folks go through that. The Jews, when they open up their stuff, black people don't even ever be involved, ever even see a Jew unless they get to a certain level, unless it's a Jew opening up some type of little business in the black neighborhoods to make money off black folks. But getting back to, the topic at hand, Deion, yeah, we can't knock him. They gave him an offer he can't refuse. And honestly, the amount of money that they offered him compared to what he was making at Jackson State was an offer you can't refuse. And that's why I'm saying I'm not really knocking him. More than likely, if I was in this position, just from a logical standpoint, you know what I'm saying, it's almost like that Elon Musk deal where he overbid it so much that it would have been illegal it would have been a violation of law for Twitter not to accept his offer because he made a from a technical standpoint, according to FCC regulations, his offer was so big to purchase that they would have been neglecting the responsibility to their shareholders by turning down such a lucrative offer. Because he was basically overpaying for the product. Um, it's a hostile takeover. So basically, what Colorado did with Deion Sanders was an absolute hostile takeover. That's why you can't really knock him too much because they offered him so much above what he was already making that if to turn down that offer, you definitely have to be standing on this is some God stuff. This is ordained. This is where I'm supposed to be. It's just about to be a pure integrity thing. And Deion Sanders has never been any of that throughout his whole career. So they knew that what they were doing was a hostile takeover, and they knew he had no choice but to accept that offer. And that's why I say this is bigger than Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, like I said in the title, is just a pawn in the bigger game of the system of white supremacy. Because they knew that they could buy this man off, and they were fully aware of all the rhetoric and stuff he did, you know what I'm saying, in that place and acting as if this was some type of ordained mission from up on high and this, that, and the third. They were aware of that. But they said, guess what? We're going to come in and crush these Negro spirits and show them that even Deion could be paid off after he claimed that he had turned his life around. He's saved now. He's a man of God. He don't care about money or worldly possessions. He's doing things for I guess what's right and to try to elevate the HBCUs and look out for black people and this, that, and the third. They knew exactly what they were doing. This is the same thing they always do. They come and grab the white supremacist society as a whole. They came up with this, you know what I'm saying, with this wrinkle in the game as far as their strategy a long time ago. You poach the black community's best and brightest and then convert them over to their side, bring them in to work for them. And then that means the black community could never, build off of, the great minds and the great everything that we develop, or whether it be scholarly, athletics, physically, gifted people, whatever, all the gifted people in our society get poached more than likely get poached by the white supremacists, and they bring them over there to work for them. And that's them. That's those, like when you look at these Fortune 500 companies and these tech companies and stuff, the 3 black employees they got or something like that in those companies, that's them. They make sure that they diminish the resources of the black community so we can't build on our own. And that's another reason why I always say integration was one of the worst things that ever happened to the black community, because when it was the law that we couldn't be integrated with these people, we were able to build on our own because we had no choice but to. And that was the whole reason why every time we build something great, the white supremacists seen us being on the road to surpassing them on so many levels. When we were forced to build on our own amongst ourselves, that they always had to come and tear things down in order to stay ahead of us. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't do the things we do. They couldn't match our level of intellect and forethought and ingenuity. They couldn't match our level. So instead of trying to catch up to what we were doing, even though we started below them, instead of catching up when we started surpassing them, then for them to be able to continue to win the race, they cut our knees out from under us. That was their strategy. But again, like I was talking about before, that's still their strategy, and they use that with the building inspectors, health inspectors, and all these other tools of the trade that they use to this day to knock down black business and make sure we can never get a major foothold in a society from a business aspect of things. You know, you can't never get too big. If you get if you get so big, you know, at some point in time you're gonna catch the eye of the white supremacists, and they're gonna either be like, you gotta cut me in or cut it out. Point blank period. This is what they do all day, every fucking day. You know. But it's your man, old man Winter. I ain't gonna talk your ear off about this all night long, you know. But yeah, I just had to speak on this Deion situation. Like I say, we ain't knocking the brother. It basically was a hostile takeover. They made this man an offer he can't refuse, and you know, it was the whole point was to make him look like a coon and a sellout, make him go against everything that he said that he stood for and believed in, before the eyes of the entire nation, especially when he was out here recruiting top talent that was supposed to be going to these prestigious D1 programs, and they felt like they got top. They once he started recruiting them top talents coming there that they felt like should have been in these high profile programs, these high profile D1 programs. Then that was like the nail in the coffin right there. You know what I'm saying? They had to figure out a plan to break this thing down, break this thing up, so these HBCU, so he really wouldn't be able to do the things that he claimed he was trying to do as far as elevating the HBCUs. So again, this is just another scheme and another scam of the white supremacists that control this country, control this nation, control the world. You know, again, he's just another pawn in the grander scheme of the white supremacist system uh, as a whole. But again, it's your man, the old man Winter. Uh, like, comment, and subscribe if you're feeling what I'm saying, and this, that, and the third, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, peace.